order, please.
Okay. Mrs. Mock?
Here.
Mr. Markham?
Here.
Mr. Porter?
Here.
Mr. Sherwood?
Here.
Mrs. Smrek?
Here.
Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Porter, if you would, please.
The vision and mission statements of the Austintown Schools. The Austintown Local School District is a united community with a proud legacy and a progressive approach to education. We provide an inspiring education that strengthens and prepares our students for unlimited future opportunities.
Thank you, sir. Item number 5, agenda approval. Upon the recommendation of the treasurer, approve the agenda for the October 19th, 2023 Board of Education regular session.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Markham?
Yes.
Mrs. Smrek?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Sherwood?
Yes.
I'll get the public comments.
Nobody? Thanks, Blaze. Getting your cardio in. It's good. Nobody signed up for item 6, public comments. We're going to move on to item 7 with recognition in presentations. Janet, if you would, please.
Well, good evening. Our people that were supposed to be here thought the meeting was at 6, so I apologize. So we have one student here. Come on up.
All right.
So first off, we're here this evening to present and acknowledge some people's efforts in helping our district secure an Ohio EPA recycling grant, scrap tire grant worth $191,704. I applied for this grant through collaborative efforts with our Assistant Treasurer, Andrea Pisa, and Athletic Director, Russell Hauser, back in February. And we found out in June that we received this grant. So this grant will pay for half the cost to resurface our existing in our community track located at Fitch by using recycled scrap tires. This project will not only impact thousands of users who use our track, but more importantly, it will reduce and reuse and recycle scrap tires. Approximately about 6,142 tires will be kept out of the land stream with this project. So I thought that was interesting. Learned a lot writing this grant. It involved many partners. We had to do a little researching because this is not my expertise, so we involved Mahoney County Solid Waste Management District. Kim Lewis was instrumental in helping me research in the grant writing. Liberty Tire Recycling, they provided the quantity on how many tires we would probably save. Vasco Sports Contractors was the contractor that we received a quote from and information from. And here this evening we had there was a student recognition part. So when I saw the application, it said student involvement. I'm like, okay, who can we involve in this application? My first thought was Falcon Media. We involve Falcon Media with a lot of things we do here. They promote a lot of things. So right away my mind went, okay, we're going to get this grant. We're going to have the Falcon Media publicize it, advertise, thank the Ohio EPA. And then I thought, that's a little too simple. Who else can we involve to get some kids really involved in the benefits of doing this project? So I called Jeff Swayble at the high school, and he suggested, we have an intro to an engineering class. And I said, oh, okay. So that worked out, and come on up, Robert. And so I reached out to Robert Wine, good timing, and said, would you be interested? We have this grant we're looking at applying for. I think it might fit maybe your scope and sequence of your class, and would you be interested in having your kids involved in researching this? And Robert didn't hesitate, and he said, absolutely, sure, we can do that. So it was 17 students in the class, 10 male, 7 females, grades 9 through 12, and it was scheduled first period of the day, so which is about 7:30 to about 8:22. So a couple of the questions were on metrics, the beneficial uses of scrap tires. So when I shared the draft with Robert in a Google Doc, I said, okay, try out and help out with some of these questions. He emailed me right back. This is January 10th, middle of winter, freezing cold out. And he said, we're going to try metrics and we're going to try accomplishing, the benefits of scrap tires. So I said, cool, thank you. Let me know if you need anything from me. So next thing I know, Robert's out. He has the kids all bundled up on the Fitch track, clipboards in hands, and they went out to try to estimate how much area the track was, all the different parts of it, the jumping, you know, the high jump area, the pole vault, all the rubberized surface areas. And they tried to come up with the number of tires that would be needed and how much surface area. So they were out there. I wish he would have gotten pictures. He didn't get pictures. They were all cold outside, right? And they came back and came back with trying to attempt to figure out. They didn't have all the information they needed because they weren't sure how much scrap tire you would get from a tire and how many would equate to a pound, but they did their best attempts to figure that out. They also researched then what's the beneficial uses of scrap tires and, you know, the impact on athletes and the surface area and, you know, diverting tires from the land stream. So they did a lot of great work in groups working on their Chromebooks and researching the benefits also. So here tonight we want to recognize Mr. Wyant and also the class. Do you have a list of the class members?
I do.
Okay.
I can rattle them off.
Okay. Go ahead. You want to rattle off and recognize these kids?
Yeah, I'm sorry if I missed your name. It's off the top of my head, but it was Caleb Mowry, Braden Sovereigns. Okay, I just want to make sure I pronounced his last name right. Emily Barringer, Anastasia Diltz. This was last year, so I'm trying to think of where they're sitting from last year. I know there was Terrion Livingston.
I bet she knows. She'll know.
Amara Davis, there we go. Ronnie Trimble. Yeah, that's most of the class. That's a good chunk. That's a good chunk off the top of my head.
You want to share anything, Anastasia? She was on the news. The WFMJ did a story on it, and they've gotten a lot of press, so Anastasia was on the news, and she was the only one that was willing to speak, so kudos to her. So we appreciate the kids' efforts and Mr. Wine's efforts and everybody else involved in helping us secure this grant. So thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Very proud of you, Anastasia. You did a great job. Very proud of you.
Okay, we'll go on to item 8, and we'll start with reports. We'll start with the high school. Mr. Ricardo, give us an update at Fitch.
No pressure, 8 weeks on the job, and Sal asked me to narrow down to 5 or 6 things of the 1,497,000 things that have happened in the small city that is Fitch High School. So I'm going to go through this real quick. Some we've heard, some of this has been in the media, but I'd like to just bring some light to it. Our National Honor Society students will begin study tables to any student that's currently struggling and who stays on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, and that starts October 24th. Last Tuesday, our sophomore class took the pre-ACT exam, which was new to me. It was a pretty cool experience. The other 3 grades were on remote learning, while the sophomores showed up and got a good look at the college placement test. And as we know, the 2 most probably important indicators towards financial aid for college is your ACT score and your GPA. So it's important that our kids get an early look at that. We're very proud academically of John Darnley. He's a senior with us. He was recently named a semifinalist for the National Merit Scholarship by scoring in the top 3% of all test takers on the PSAT. So there were 1.5 million test takers, and John was in the top 3%. So he's on his way to big things, and he's still in the running for a lot of good college help. Couple things at the school that are important that coming up. Thursday, October 26th at 7 p.m., our drama club will sponsor, I believe it's an annual, but I know it's for sure this year. There are 1-act plays in the auditorium, so get your tickets for that. And then maybe most importantly, December 2nd, 7 p.m. in our auditorium, there is a fundraiser for Cantel, the daughter of Michelle Stewart, who is in student support at the high school. and who is currently battling illness. So please show up December 2nd. Let's get that out into the community. The Fitch Rock Band, as we've seen with Mr. Anthony, is really growing. He was able to secure over $20,000 in guitars through a program with Gibson Guitars, and those were delivered a few weeks ago. That hallway is lit up, and I know Mr. Kelly would be proud of that. There's noise every morning, and it's rock noise, and we got kids engaged. And to be honest, I know that Ms. Owens has shared this with me. There's a young female student that we see off the bus every morning. I work the bus hallway, and she said she had no engagement in the school until this year. Now she can't wait to get into that music room. So anything we can do to give a kid a reason to come to school is a good reason enough for us. So that has worked. And lastly, I'd like to just throw out a little shout out. We've had a great start to the year. The whole Fitch High School community has pitched in. I'd like to especially thank the custodial and the maintenance staff and food services. They have shown a lot of flexibility in those first couple months of tweaking in a new school year. As you know, there are adjustments that need made. There are repairs that pop up. There are lunches that need shifted, and those people have been all on board to help us with that. So I appreciate your time tonight. That's just a small sampling of what's happening, and thank you.
Thank you. Janet returns with AMS.
Good evening again. I was told to be brief, and be gone. So we are approaching the end of the first 9 weeks already, with October 27th being the last day of the grading period. Parent-teacher conferences, we tried something different this year. It was in October instead of November, and we had one of the best turnouts, our teacher said, that we've had in a long time. So conferences still can be scheduled if parents didn't make it. Our doors are always open. This past week, we adjusted our car rider drop-offs, the 2 lanes in the morning, to ensure the safety of students. We appreciate the parents' cooperation, and everything seems to be running smoothly. Also, keeping to safety, we've had a busy month meeting some requirements of Senate Bill 288. We had Life Act Company presenting to all our social studies classes on suicide prevention, and then also the ESC staff gave Speak Up presentations to all our 6th grade students, and those will continue throughout the year. We also want to thank our PTA for their continued support in the purchase of a Cricut. It's going to maybe help us with some building projects and some signage at the building. We'll also be busy the next few weeks, our PTA, with our sports recognition next Wednesday evening, and on our annual AMS Craft Show, which is on Saturday, November 11th. And that is it from AMS.
Thanks, Janet. Thank you. Mrs. Vickers with the intermediate school update, please.
Hi, everyone. Well, today we finished the majority of our state testing for 3rd grade language arts. And tomorrow, the whole 3rd grade will be completed with that. So unfortunately, that's the way we have to start our year. Now, I am in the new world of small children and apparently room parties and Halloween parades. So that is what's coming up for us. So next Friday is our Halloween parade, and ACTV will be live streaming that for our parents. And then we have, following that, room parties. We have costume contests, and our staff is doing a pumpkin carving contest. So we'll be doing that. And then we have more fun coming up in November because the PT is doing a scarecrow decorating contest. So when you see all of that in the front lawn of AIS and AES, that's what it's for. So I don't know what to expect, so just letting you know.
Thank you. And Mrs. Dorbish with the AES update.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to share with you guys some Dibbles news. Dibbles is our benchmarking that we do at the beginning of the year. And we do have some celebrations. For our well below, these are our most at-risk readers. We call them Tier 3. In kindergarten, it's kind of hard. We start the same every year. 22-23, we started with 54%. 23-24, we started with 53%, not much of a difference, but I'll catch you at the end of the year and you'll see what those kindergarten teachers can do. It's pretty amazing. First grade, we started in 22-23 with 31%, and I'm really proud to say that this year, 23, 24, we reduced that to 18%. So that's a kudos to those kindergarten teachers. And second grade, 22, 23, we started out with 29%, well below. This year, we reduced that to 19%. So again, kudos to those first grade teachers. This year, every one of our teachers have a dedicated intervention time. It's built in just like their music, lunch, and art schedule. During that time, students are pulled out to get M-class tutoring. That would be those most at-risk kids. And then our classroom teachers are also doing intervention. This year, our BLT is really looking at our intervention programs very carefully to start to make a reduction and use the most effective ones. So we're excited about what we're doing with our readers. We think we're going to see the success in third grade for sure. If you don't have anything to do tonight after the board meeting, come on over to the Fall Fest. We are out in the lot between AES and AIS. I hear we have haunted buses, we've got some food trailers, we've got pumpkins, all that good stuff. So that is tonight. A big thank you to our PTA. And I just want to give a shout out to my first and second grade teachers. I know you guys get our newsletters, but they've been doing some really fantastic things with our new reading series. You've seen the fairy tale units. We had the Chinese New Year. And be on the lookout for first grade this week. They have a doctor's unit, and all the kids were dressed up and doing parts of the body, so it was super cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 9, Alexis, give us an update on the wellness policy and food service update, please.
The Fall Fest is a great event if you want to go, because I'll be there too. Kids enjoy it, so good job to the AES PTA. Just a couple food service updates for you guys. Some changes to the child nutrition programs that we're seeing in the state of Ohio for this school year. The Ohio biennial budget included funds to cover the copay for reduced price meals. So a family that would qualify for reduced breakfast would pay 30 cents. And for lunch would pay 40 cents, and now the state of Ohio is actually picking that up for those families these next 2 school years. And then also Ohio decided to pilot a direct cert program with Medicaid, so now more students can partake in meal benefits at school with direct certification, and we're seeing that benefit our students. Yes, we always have to do a wellness policy update. So we did meet last fall. We meet like every couple of years. We did update the policy per the meeting last year, and we also evaluate the policy every year. So that those results are posted on the department website if you're interested in looking at them there. And as a whole, we do a good job with the district adhering to our wellness policy. Coming up is our 3rd annual Cream Turkey fundraiser. It'll be on Wednesday, November 8th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. We have a flyer and some information out on the website. If anybody's interested, we do need reservations so we know how many to plan for. And it's been very successful, so we look forward to doing that again. A shout out to my catering staff. Yesterday we did a really nice job pulling off a senior citizens dinner. We had over 210 or so community members that came in and enjoyed our hospitality and enjoyed our food. And so shout out to Lori Ole. She's the one in the kitchen really taking charge while I'm helping out too. And it's a good effort, and we look forward to putting it on twice a year. A couple department improvements to let you know of. Over the summer, we actually wiped out the refrigeration equipment at the middle school. So the walk-in coolers, AMS has 2 walk-in coolers and a walk-in freezer. The actual insulated box didn't get changed, but the guts inside of it that make it a refrigerator, we got that all to be brand new. It took a pretty good effort to get that done, but now AMS is good to go. The same thing happened just this last month at AES. They lost their freezer, and we had to do the same thing. So we took care of that. You might say, oh, well, how often? Well, this building is 16 plus years old, so that equipment is, unfortunately, it doesn't last forever. But that's all taken care of. We also have installed our menu boards inside all the cafeterias. So all 4 buildings have menu boards that show like our what's on the menu for today, if there's a menu change, what's on the menu for tomorrow. The principals also have slides. They can add building announcements or quotes, things like that, and everybody's utilizing it. It's a nice way to communicate with the kids. And then finally, we have a big renovation project happening at the high school. We're redoing the service lines at Fitch. We're going to be able to expand our selections for them. It includes like 20 plus pieces of equipment that are going to be replaced on the service line. They'll have an expanded salad bar. They'll be able to do kind of like a Subway on their own, where they take a sub and put toppings on their subs. And they'll have more hot options, not just what's on the traditional menu. They'll be able to grab like other sandwiches that are hot, pizza slices, things like that, and expand their options so that we're catering to our high schoolers. And that is supposed to be done over Christmas break, and we look forward to it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 10, upon the recommendation of the treasurer, approve the following items A through C by consent action.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Mrs. Smrek?
Yes.
Mr. Markham?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Sherwood?
Yes. Item 11, MOU, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the following MOU by and between the Austintown Local School District Board and the Austintown Education Association, OEA-NEA, whereas the board and the association are parties to a collective bargaining agreement that is in effect from August 29, 21 to August 28, 24, whereas the board and the association believe it to be mutually advantageous to temporarily modify the agreement. And now, therefore, the board and the association agree as follows. The athletic supplemental contract for the head boys, girls swim coach position of 20% will be split into the following two positions for the 23-24 swimming season as follows: 15% and 5%. This MOU will remain in effect for the 23-24 school year. The necessity for the split shall be revisited for need prior to the start of the 24-25 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Smrek?
Yes.
Mr. Markham?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Sherwood?
Yes. Item 12, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the following items A through I by consent action.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Mrs. Smrek?
Yes.
Mr. Markham?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Sherwood?
Yes. Mr. Kelty, would you make some,
I would. It would be my pleasure, Mr. Sherwood. I'd just like to briefly talk about our two resignations, Mark Miller and Dave Robinall. I'll first start with Mark Miller after 31 years. And just both of these guys, think of the amount of work that they have done for our district and our kids in Austintown. Mark Miller was an 81 Fitch grad, grew up in Woodcliff, and really important is he still resides in Austintown. He's married to his wife Marianne for over 41 years. He has two daughters that both went through Fitch High School, so we're very proud of him. Dave Robinall, a mechanic in the bus garage. When you talk about hard work, think of that, a tire change or working on a diesel engine. So much respect to Dave as a 1983 Fitch grad, grew up in the Wedgwood area. He's still a resident. When I just spoke to him when he handed in his resignation, the first thing he said to me, I'll always, forever was his words, I will forever live in Austintown. These are such great people. His son Matt graduated from Fitch. He has a daughter that's a freshman, Serena, right now, and been married to his wife Chris for over 30 years. So I would just like to extend to those guys, on behalf of the Austintown Local School District, a heartfelt gratitude. Good job, guys. Thank you.
thank you. Item 13, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the following personnel to serve on the committee for the 23-24 school year at the rate of $20 per hour as mentioned below.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Smrek?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Mr. Markham?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Sherwood?
Yes. Item 14, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the following board policies for adoption revision as mentioned below, A through U.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Mr. Markham?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Sherwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Smrek?
Yes.
Would like a motion for our next meeting. This could be tentative. For Thursday, November the 16th, 4 p.m. work session, 5 p.m. board meeting.
So moved. Second?
Mrs. Smrek?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Mr. Markham?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Sherwood?
Yes. Yes. Any comments, Treasurer?
No.
Mr. Kelty?
No, thank you.
Any board comments? Fred?
You know, I just want to take a minute, as somebody who has experienced writing grants, who's in charge of the grant writing process, I do want to pay special recognition to Janet. I know how hard that process was. I thank you, Mr. Wyatt, for all your work, bringing the students in, letting them starting to understand the process of how difficult it is to write a grant, how much research it is, how much creative writing you have to do, how much math calculations you have to do. That is a feat like no other. So carry your heads high. And this goes for all the students that weren't here that had involvement with that. Give yourselves a round of applause. That's a great job. Thank you for all your hard work. That's a huge benefit to our school system. So I'd like to thank our operational staff, our custodians, food service, our maintenance. I can't believe how good this school looked for the start of the year, both inside and out. It's probably one of the best years I've ever seen, so I do want to say thank you guys very much for all your hard work and making our schools look so good. Along with that, our retirees. It's not too many times in this day and age you could say that somebody had a 31-year career. For somebody to make that personal sacrifice and fulfill a full 30 years and retire is so important. It reflects to our young students, our young adults, the importance of working a full-term career. So I want to thank our retirees. I wish them luck in their endeavors. I hope to see them around town. And everybody that came, thank you very much for coming. Your attendance doesn't mean a lot to us, so thank you. That's all I have. I'll shut up now.
I'd like to make a motion for us as a board to go back into executive session. There would be no action taken for item number 6.
So moved. Second?
Mrs. Smrek?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Mr. Markham?
Yes.
Mr. Porter? Mr. Sherwood?
Yes.